Good morning. Oh, good morning, Barb. Good morning. Did you get some snow this last week? Thought I saw something with a lot of snow up in your neighborhood. Our temperatures are cooling down. It's bright and sunny outside, but it's only 39 degrees, which, is just jacket weather. So, what are we going to do today? We are going to talk about pricing. Question always comes up, what should I charge for this? How much should I charge for this? $1,000 or $1 per thousand stitches? Oh, um, so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about pricing. I see there's a handful of people coming in. No snow. Oh my God. 60 degrees. I'm going to come spend the day with you. I could use some 60 degrees. Facebook user is here. Just a note, Facebook user. Two things. You can, somewhere in there, Facebook says you need to allow StreamYard to do whatever. Or, just so you know, StreamYard and Facebook are not playing well together. So if you want, jump over to my YouTube channel. You know, same thing. I get all the questions, I see everybody. So the YouTube channel might be a better option. Oh, Cindy, good morning. Beautiful in the hill. Oh, yeah, we got sunshine too. Walking Woods Creations, good morning. Good morning. So, like I said, we're going to talk about dollars and cents. Now, I don't, I try to keep a flat fee schedule for my digitizing. Most of you know that already. But production gets a little harder because there's so many other factors involved. In production, you have the design file, you have the it oh, Letty, yay, I should have known that. Good morning, good morning. And Pam, good morning. So um anyways, so with production pricing, you've got the thread, the stabilizer, the needles. The garments are a whole different thing. Um, then you've got how much does it cost you to run your machine? How much does it cost you to have your machine in the area that it's sitting in? How do you figure all that stuff out? Well, honestly, you have to do the math. It's the only thing you can do. You have to do the math. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the math. I got a little spreadsheet here that I want to show you. Let me pop that up. Where am I? There I am, little bitty me over here. So, just to start out, we're going to talk about the consumables, the thread, the stabilizer, and the needles. Now, I actually did this math, and I do it about once a year. Yeah, Cindy is exactly right. Prices are going up on everything, including insurance. Oh my goodness, you're right. Insurance. Um, I do this. I do my price checking about once a year uh, because prices go up, prices change. That $1 per thousand stitch count, that's about 20 years old. I'm not paying 20. I'm not paying pricing for my supplies from 20 years ago. I'm paying 2022 prices. That was Tori, by the way. She's decided to leave. Um, so yeah, I check these prices about once a year. Now, the thing I want you to see here is that we break things down to a smaller a smaller amount. For example, um, I buy the 5,000 meter cones, but we're going to work with an 1,100 meter cone, which it costs about $3.24 if I go over to my favorite embroidery supply vendor, which, look at this, is not even a penny a meter. Not even. And that cone, I can get 220 stitches. Excuse me, 220,000 stitches from one cone. That's a lot of stitches. I like to buy pre-cut stabilizer. Um, the majority of what I do is, oh, you're right. I didn't even price bobbins. Um, yeah, we should. Oops, where'd I go? We should add bobbins to our mix. Well, needless to say, my point is that by the time we get done with pricing our consumables, we're down to pennies. That's not even a dollar in supplies. And I know the bobbin's only about 40 cents. So let's just call this a dollar. $1 per hooping. What do we got here? Laddie says, have you priced bobbins? The prices are finally coming down. Really? $100 for 100 a couple of weeks ago. No, thank you. I'm not spending $100 on bobbins. Thank you very much. And Cindy, the $1 per thousand isn't good on. Oh, you're right. Here, let me show you. Let me show you. I'm going to go to. Where am I going? All right. We're going to start with the big one first. I know I'm bouncing all over the place. This is a patch. This is a patch that I do in production for a client. This patch is only about, will fit in the palm of my hand, just to give you an idea of what size it is. This patch has 18,970 stitches in it. At $1 per thousand, that's an $18, almost $19 for that one patch. Some people out there have just bumped the per thousand to $2, which makes that one patch $37.94. How many of you are going to pay $38 for a patch that's only about the size of the palm of your hand? Letty's got a point here. There's the time at your hoop, the cleanup when you're done. Don't forget to add the specialty items, metallics, washways. Yep, that's all part of the factor. So at 1,000, $1 per thousand, again, that's an $18, $19 patch. I'm not paying for that. I'm not gonna go, even though I know it's a custom patch, but still, it's a patch. All right. So how about the other end of the spectrum? This is just the arch on the back of a hat. It's only 4,500 stitches. Makes it $4.59. Now I know you're all gonna say, I have a minimum $10 minimum. Well, that's all fine and good. But if your pricing structure is set up at $1 per thousand, that's $4.59. All right. Or if you're doing $2 per thousand, it's $9.18. And again, somebody's going to question that, but it's only this one little line. All right, one more. One more. This is a hat front. This is on the front of a hat, which means it's only about 2 inches. Yep, 2 inches, but it's 14,000, almost 15,000 stitches. It's $14. Maybe that's reasonable. Maybe somebody will pay $14 plus the cost of the hat. I know they're probably not even going to consider $30 plus the cost of the hat. So this pricing per stitch is not going to work. You're either going to overcharge or undercharge, and who wants that? All right, let's go back to our spreadsheet. So what do? We do the math. By my calculation here, I guess we ought to figure out how many. I didn't do that, did I? How many stitches? All right. So if our cost per cone is $3.24, not even a penny a meter. Okay, so we might bump this all up into a whole dollar, which is what I'll do here. This is going to cost us $1 to stitch. It's going to cost us $1 to stitch a general 4x4. All right. Now, what else have you got? And somebody pointed out insurance, which is a fixed cost, X number of dollars per month. Actual and actual. Okay. So you have your location. If you're renting a brick and mortar, actual cost. If you are working out of your home, measure the square footage and calculate out what that is in a percent per your house. If your house is 1,000 square feet and you're using 100 square feet of that, that's a 10%. So your expense for your in-house use, your in-house rent, is 10% of your mortgage. It's also going to be 10% of your utilities. Sorry about that. So then you've got your equipment. If your equipment is paid for outright, you're going to calculate out how much it would cost you to rent that equipment, and that becomes your expense. Because you, the company, still need to pay for the equipment. Your overhead expenses, again, your utilities, your phone expenses, those are either going to be actual or a percentage of your total square footage. Insurance is actual. Here's the biggie. Pay yourself, people. You're not standing there looking good. Well, you are standing there looking good, but you want to get paid for looking good. So, how much per hour do you want to make? $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $60 per hour? That's up to you. Now that you have all of your numbers, there's one more number you need to figure out. You need to figure out how many hours you are working in your shop. And I'm not talking about how many hours the machine is running. I'm talking about walking into your shop and picking up that first piece of stabilizer, or walking into your shop and assessing what needs to be done that day. From the moment you walk into your shop to the moment you walk out of your shop, how many hours do you intend to work in your shop per day, per week, however you want to calculate it. Yes, Cindy's going to go with the standing there. Wouldn't that be nice? So, yeah, how many hours are you going to work in your shop? If you're working a 40-hour week, that's an 8-hour day. That is, let's see, that's an 8-hour day. And I actually break it down to 15-minute increments. And you'll see why in a second. That's 32 quarter hours in a day. And I take all my calculations, with the exception of my consumables. I take all my calculations and I break it down to how much per quarter hour is this going to cost me? How much per quarter hour do I need to make to cover my expenses and my wages? And then my pricing, my production pricing is X plus consumables. Oh, I didn't like that. Here, let me change that. So X plus the consumables times the quarter hours. That's how I calculate my fee structure. Um, oh, that's just it, Cindy. Cindy wants to know how I do it if I already have the supplies. Just like I have to buy new supplies. Yes, like I said, I do my consumable calculations about once a year, and then I do a little rounding. I know for a standard 4x4 job, it'll probably cost me $1 in consumables. If if you, and remember, you don't change your needles with every job. You change your needles about every continuous 8 hours of stitching. Um, but you need to put your needles in a calculation there. Maybe ultimately you're doing $2 per job for a standard 4x4, which means that for a standard 8x8, it's going to be about $4. For a 10x10, $5. These are calculations that you're going to make. Cindy Barb says she goes by the current cost for replacing. Um, that would involve doing these calculations with every job, but like I said, I personally just do it once a year. Again, with my rent and such, unless there's a major change, maybe I bought a new piece of equipment, so my equipment lease amount went up. Maybe my insurance doubled. Maybe I hired somebody and now I have more wages I have to pay out. If I have a major change, then I will do a recalculation of everything. But basically, what I do is I do the math. I figure out what my cost per quarter hour is. Oh, the quarter hour. And this is the only time I use stitch count. Oops. Let me close that. Go back to here. I'm going to delete this because I want to show you an actual number. Your production sheets should have a total number of stitches on them. In my software, I have two machines set up in my software. One machine I have set up to run at 600 stitches per minute. The other one is at 850. I run actually generally at 850 stitches per minute. But for my quote, I calculate at 600 stitches per minute. And I don't know that you can see this, but according to this calculation, at 600 stitches per minute, this design file will take 19 minutes to stitch. And I'm so sorry. Traveling always makes me a little sick. So this is a 19-minute job by my pricing calculation. And I do that because I know it's going to take me a little bit of time to set up the hat. I know it's going to take me time to pull the hat off the hoop and pull the stabilizer away. So that 600, that difference between the 600 and the 800, that's my setup buffer. Hello, Jesse, West Virginia. Hello, Jesse. So I charge at 600 stitches per minute. That's the only time I use stitches. And you can make that same calculation with your design file. If you know that your design file is 6,000 stitches and your calculation is at 600, you know that the stitch time is going to be, that doesn't sound right, does it? Sorry, I can't do math in my head anymore. Haven't been able to do math in my head for the last 12 years. Okay. So we have 14,000 stitches. Where am I? I want to add that and divide by 600. So that's a 23 minutes. Now, if I'm charging by the quarter hour, this 23 minutes is 2 quarter-hour segments. You can't, the quarter hour is a firm number. You can't split a quarter hour. Well, technically you can, but on paper you can't split a quarter hour. So this is 2 quarter-hour segments. So if my charges are $10 for a quarter hour, that's $20 plus the cost of my consumables. That's $22. Cindy, 15 minutes to sew out 9,000 stitches? I really, it has to be really slow. Is it a problem design? Do you want somebody to look at it? Just subscribe. Welcome, Jesse. Welcome. So, and I know some of you have gotten here late. Please just take a bit to rewatch once it's posted. Do you have any specific questions? Lots of trims. Yeah. Lots of trims. Is there anything that can be done to speed up the production on that? Can the trims be edited? Maybe it's a file that you use all the time and you know it's going to be that way, that it's as efficient as it can be. But if it's not, just give me a shout out. Let me see if there's something that can be done with it. Um, so again, any any questions you might have on pricing, um, I know everybody has a different way. No, we'll never be able. You're right, Cindy. We are not going to be able to compete with China or India or Pakistan. We can't compete with them. Our cost of living is about 400% of their cost of living. So if they're paying 40 cents for a loaf of bread and it costs me $2.39, I can't support myself, let alone my my environment, to at 40 cents. I can't support myself. And I think that's one of the sad things, is that we are so into getting the cheapest price but the best product that we go overseas, and the people here suffer for it. Yes, they do. And again, tell them, tell them, well, yes, you go ahead and buy those that pack of tea towels for $18 that has 12 individual embroidery designs, and give those to your mama. But just know that there are 200,000 other mamas out there getting the same embroidery designs. Do I give bulk discounts? Actually, I don't. I don't. Because I am a one person shop, I use a one head machine. It takes just as long for me to set up and start digitizing, or excuse me, start stitching one shirt as it does to stitch the next shirt and the next shirt and the next shirt. But I do tell my clients, my customers, I'm giving you the best price that I can based on the numbers that I need to support myself. And I don't make $60 an hour. I make $15 an hour. I'm happy with that. As long as my equipment is paid for, as long as my supplies are paid for, I'm fine. Another price consideration is when the customer supplies the product, another pricing level. For a lot of people, yes, they change the pricing level because the sale of that garment is where you're going to get a lot of your retail dollars. You're going to buy that shirt for $9 and change, but it retails for $26. So you're going to sell it to your client for $26 plus the cost of the embroidery. So a lot of your profit is right there in that retail garment. If they provide the garment, and some shops do not allow this at all, other shops do with a disclaimer, with a waiver. But if they're going to provide that, you've totally lost that 20 some dollar, that $18 um, profit, which is calculated for part of your overhead, part of the monies you need to make. So now you need to do 2 jobs or 3 jobs to make up for that loss. Excuse me just a moment. Barb gives quantity breaks. I use these mainly for youth sports leagues that you work with. Well, that's because, the pennies are tight for those guys. I sometimes double the embroidery price unless it's my promotional people, then it's a regular price. And Cindy, that doubling is that when they bring in their own garment, so to make up for the loss of selling the garment. Does that sound about right? While while I'm waiting for because there's like an 8-second delay here. While I'm waiting for more comments, I want to take this moment since we're at the end of our show. I want to take this moment and tell you next week I have uh I have something in mind. I know we might be a little late for the holiday season, um, but I'm putting together some ideas for little little gift items, for the mailman, for the Girl Scouts, for little gift items that are quick and easy and not overly expensive that you can give to your coworkers or you know your clubs. That's next week. There'll be 3 of them. I'm really excited. I wanna show them off. Oh, Cindy, thank you. Cindy says that that's just for the regular person off the street, which is not a bad way. Having different pricing tiers for different clientele. And that makes sense too, because with every item that you stitch, with every garment, it's already covering the overhead and your wages. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Cindy. I'm excited. Might give you a sneak peek. All right. Okay. I'm going to need to sign off here. Um, I have a really scratchy throat today, and I have this really serious desire to just um, cough really hard, and I don't want to do that. Not here, anyways. So I'm going to say goodbye and thank you. And next week, next week should be fun. I hope you got something out of this pricing. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Pop it off in the group, pop it off in a comment. I will look for them, I'll watch for them, and we'll see you next week.
Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.